Hello and welcome to Brodual, and welcome to our second episode covering the fantastic Convenient Horses overhaul. This episode will focus on the new horse equipment as well as horse combat. In the vanilla game, you've all probably experienced the annoyance of combat with your horse around. Whether they're jumping in the way of a swinging sword only to get themselves killed, or whether you're simply trying to get the most out of the mounted combat system added in the 1.6 patch. Convenient Horses aims to improve the combat system with new horse AI, stats, and a few new combat mechanics. First and foremost, let's take a look at the new horse equipment. This includes a bunch of different saddles and armors that you can equip on your horse. However, they're entirely cosmetic, so your horse gains nothing apart from a sharp new look. And as such, the mod doesn't require you to spend anything on them, and you can instantly switch between the different cosmetics in the mod menu. The saddles include a bunch of different great looking alternatives, so you can show off whether you're a supporter of the Imperials or the Dark Brotherhood, or whether you've just been out hunting, which is great for roleplaying. The armors include a lot of the different basic armor categories, like leather, ebony, daedric and dragonbone, but on top of that there's a couple of unique ones like the Ethrai and Sethrai armors. The horse equipment is a great way to make your horse unique, and a simple way to enhance roleplaying. They also work extremely well for your followers' horses, but we'll get to that in the third and final episode of the series. In the first episode we showed you some of the new horse mechanics, like fast dismounting. Mounted combat is also enhanced by these mechanics, and in the mod menu you can set it so you'll always dismount as fast as possible if you're engaged in combat, meaning you can quickly hop off your horse to deal with an incoming threat. On top of that we also showed you looting, but not only can you loot while on a horse, you can also set it to auto loot, meaning that you can combat your enemy while mounted, automatically loot the corpse, and continue riding to your destination. You can even set up a smart auto loot system where you only pick up certain items, so be sure to make use of that in the mod menu. Mounted combat in general is quite finicky, and can be especially hard to hit fast moving enemies, which can be especially annoying if you're trying to quickly finish off a weak enemy like some skeevers or wolves. However, Convenient Horses fixes that with a new horse charging mechanic. So now if you see a weak enemy you can simply sprint in its direction to knock it back and deal damage. In the mod menu you'll be able to tweak its physics and damage, but we found the default settings to be just right for the mid tier difficulties, and it turned an annoying wolf encounter into a simple one hit and charge attack. So the new horse charge still isn't viable for the tougher enemies, but for knocking down the weaklings it works pretty well, which also makes sense for immersion reasons too. If you're facing a particularly tough enemy and you're forced to dismount, you'll no longer need to worry about your horse getting in the way or getting itself killed, unless of course you want your horse to engage in combat, then that's also possible by tweaking the settings in the mod menu. There's two options that'll affect horse AI and horse factions. You can either set your horse to be cowardly, but then they'll avoid all combat, or foolhardy so they'll get stuck in whenever possible. However, it will also depend on your horse factions. For example, if it's set to friendly and your horse is set to foolhardy, then your horse won't be attacked, but they also won't flee as if they would if they were set to cowardly. And in the end, if you still don't want your horse to face any danger, then you can set your horse to either be essential or invulnerable in the mod menu. On top of that, if you'd like your horse to receive a bit of a buff, then you can tweak its health, stamina and speed in the mod menu too. And that's everything you need to know about your horse's equipment and mounted combat with Convenient Horses. The new horse charging mechanic is a great way to deal with annoying weak enemies without having to dismount. And even if you're forced to dismount, your horse will now behave exactly how you want it to. So if you're interested in learning more, then you can watch one of our other two Convenient Horses videos, and you can find links to those down below, along with a link to the mod on both the Nexus and the Steam Workshop. And as always, be sure to leave endorsements or comments of support for mod authors, and thanks for watching.